Alright, welcome back to Our World Outdoors. Now what a year 2020 has been. Ups and downs, quarantines, canceled trips, working from home, and so many other things to deal with, but we need to look at on the bright side. For us, we've had a lot of wins this year, so we thought we'd take a moment and just appreciate the trips that have been in 2020. Things that have happened, things that we've gone out and done on trips, and why we appreciate them. So, kind of our top 6 of the year, because we couldn't agree on all of them, obviously because we went on separate trips and other things. So what we decided to do was 2 that we agree on, 2 for her, 2 for me. We're going to bring them to you, explain them all one by one, and why they are our favorites of the year. Now there's a lot of close calls on this list, so if you were on a trip with us or you saw a trip you liked better, know that this was not an easy decision. Know that this took some, we just spent like 2 hours arguing over it just to come up with our best ones. So, that said, let's get started. Honey, you want to kick things off?
Well, first I just want to say, back in March and April, we had tons of plans for this year. We had tons of big trips we were going to do, and a lot of those got canceled. But I cannot say that 2020 wasn't an exciting year for us in the backpacking.
Yes.
It ended up being great. So, with that being said, I will start off with Carter Caves. The Carter Caves trip with the Cool Chicks Hiking Collectively Facebook group was amazing. We had 13 girls, and I think it was the biggest group Carter Caves has ever seen, because when we went to register, they had to check with the ranger that there would be enough room at the site that we were staying at to accommodate 13 women. So it did very well. We had to fit some things in there. A lot of girls overcame a lot of things, such as heights, or I don't know, just different things that makes you kind of nervous sometimes whenever you're backpacking. It was 2 ladies' very first trip ever, so that was exciting. Might not have been the best trip to take them on, but I think they definitely learned a lot. But yeah, overall it was great. And I finally got my picture, which was amazing there at Carter Caves, where all of the girls lined up and we got the backpack picture. And I think that is going to be one of my most favorite pictures of the year too.
Yeah, that was an epic shot. How often do you get that many backpacking people, especially girls, all of one gender, to line up like that with a lake background? That thumbnail was epic.
It was funny because there was one guy that was walking down the trail and he goes, "You must be like 8 and 9, and we're like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, one of the girls in front of you said that there would be 13 girls I'd pass."
So that was a good one.
What about you?
I think the first one on my list is going to be the long loop at Wildcat Hollow. And only because this year has been really trying on me, because I do get a lot of time alone because I'm an insomniac. I stay up all night. I do get a lot of time alone, but it's never time alone out away from technology and life. So heading out to Wildcat to pull the long loop, you better be ready to be isolated, because most people don't even go out in the long loop. It's really muddy at parts. It's kind of buggy depending upon what time of year you go. There's just lots of things that deter people from taking the long loop. The short loop's beautiful and easy and fun, and that's what most people take.
But you had a beautiful campsite there.
Yes, I did, definitely. And I got to pull some time to where I could just kind of reset. The year had taken its toll on me at that point. I'd been doing a lot of demolition work, and my body was taxed, and I was tired, and I was just kind of done with people for the moment. I generally am kind of a loner, so taking that time to go out there and reset definitely made me appreciate backpacking more, made me get my love back for it, going full tilt, and get me wanting to be back out on the trail and just kind of reset my whole life. I got to go through a bunch of places and kind of take the time to enjoy the ones I wanted and speed through the ones I didn't like. My hang for the night was actually pretty good. I slept really well, even though I didn't sleep a lot, just because I kind of didn't want to sleep, because I just wanted to enjoy some more time at camp. I really was enjoying myself. And then the final push to get out was so nice to get out, and the pops were still cold, and It's just the way to end a trip if you're going to end one. I mean, I like trips with other people, don't get me wrong, but I needed that solo hike. I needed that.
Something special about solo hiking.
Yeah, I just needed that time to myself, and I needed to crush those miles too, just to wear me out enough to be able to fully enjoy what I was doing. So, and all these trips we're going to link down in the description box below so you can go back and review them. But this year has definitely, had some good ones. So, what's your next one on the list, my love?
My next one would have to be Lake Vesuvius all-girls backpack trip. So there was 4 of us girls that went out, and we learned a lot on this trip. And so did the 3 guys who didn't take any water on a 95-degree day that we ended up giving water to. But Brenda became a star in that video.
Yes.
So if you haven't watched it, make sure you go out back and check it out, because
she did
Brenda,
battle with a down tree.
Yes, and always if you hike with Brenda, make her put her tarp up on her hammock, because it's going to rain if not. Because there was no rain in the forecast. And it started downpouring because Brenda didn't put her tarp up. Sharuda learned she should probably bring a tarp. And I don't know. It was just great all the way around. Everyone learned something. We had a lot of obstacles. It was a 95-degree day and no one wanted to go out backpacking on that day. But these girls went with me anyway. And we had a blast. It was definitely a memorable trip.
Yeah, you guys went swimming on that one too.
Oh yeah, we did go swimming on that one. Yeah. And let's just say that Brenda had another issue. Brenda had a lot of issues on that trip now that I think about it. Because her Fritos got stolen also out of her backpack.
Oh yes. So yeah, that was a good one. And that was a lot of fun editing that one too. So you should really go back and watch that one, because I had a little fun at Brenda's expense. Now, this is so hard because we did so many good trips, but I'm gonna say that my next favorite would be Tar Hollow, which was actually 2 videos. But the gist of it is Tar Hollow has multiple campgrounds, and they have a backpacking camp that's nestled right in the middle by the fire tower of a figure 8. So basically you can do an 8-mile plus loop here and an 8-mile plus loop here, which really comes out to 10 miles when you actually do it. But we'll call it 8 miles, that's what the map says. But you can basically come right back to that base camp, which is what we did. And the kids came, and Brenda and Mike came, and I mean, it just was a great time. We had a few sites just because we were on hammocks and they don't have a whole lot of hammock hang area there. But we kind of centralized in the middle, had a fire, cooked some amazing food. Oh, it was so good. Yeah.
Probably for food, that was probably the best trip of the year.
Probably, because I mean, everyone there was cooking big time. I mean, it was definitely full-blown car camping, but yet you had the full backpacking feel because you were doing, 8 to 10 miles a day.
But that's what's really nice about Tar Hollow, because you can basically take your day pack, do your loop, and come back and set up.
Yep, and I mean, the temperature was perfect. There wasn't any bugs, really, so to speak of. Mm-hmm. I mean, we sat up late in the night talking about everything under the sun. And
we took the Caterpillar.
Oh, man.
You'll have to watch the video to find out what the Caterpillar is.
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
It's not impressive. But anyways, so, that kind of, for me, was a trip that kind of got me back into the group scene and even car camping scene, because that's not technically one of my favorite things. I like to wear myself down before bedding down for the night, but that was a trip where I got the best of both worlds. I got to eat like I was car camping and sleep like I was car camping, but I still got some miles on some pretty good elevation.
The trees keep dripping on me.
Yeah. Guys, in case you haven't noticed, it's kind of a raining day, so we're going to just power through. So I will go with my first one of the agreed favorite trips of the year. And these are only agreed because we had to decide 2. We forced ourselves down to 2 because there were so many runners up to this that, it was a battle. So
my favorite, or our favorite one for just us together, was the NCT Final Push to get the last 29 miles. And that was down in the Marietta unit of Wayne National Forest. And let me tell you, That one was an obstacle too. It seems like I like all of the trips that we overcome something. There was a lot of hunters in the woods, so we had to camp in the car instead of where we wanted to camp. The miles ended up being way over what we thought they were.
Yeah, there was some navigational difficulties on that one. Not that we got off the trail, just...
We didn't get off the trail, I don't think, at all.
No, it was just the measurement factor.
It was only that much longer.
As the crow flies.
Like 4 miles. But that was a very exciting trip. It had quite a bit of elevation. I really had to push myself on the second day. So we found another neat campsite that we thought would be great for a group camp.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a very challenging trip and fun.
Yeah, we had to be quick on our feet on that one and figure out ways to make the trip continue based on the fact that we were gonna sleep at Archer's Fork camp parking lot trailhead, and it was just packed, and literally people were sleeping at the trailhead too to go hunting the next morning. So we were like, this is not gonna work. So you need to go back and check out that video, as we had to learn how to adapt very quickly, and it could have sent the trip south, but instead we just improvised and moved on. And that's probably why we like the trip so much, honestly, is just because you can go on a trip, but if you can be adaptive and make it better, it always makes the trip better.
I think you find that a lot of times, no matter how much you plan for a backpacking trip, you get there and there's something that doesn't go exactly as planned.
Yeah.
And you just got to be able to adapt, because if you can't adapt, then you're not going to have as good of a time.
Okay, so on our last agreed trip and the last trip of the video, we had to go round and round because it's been such a good year. But I do feel that while not really pounding out miles, this was probably the best trip of the year that I can look at it as, and I'm sure you agree. Our latest trip, where we went to Archer's Fork, we did an out and back, and we went out and met up with a whole bunch of other people to do a hammock hang in the middle of winter. So if you haven't seen that video, I definitely would encourage you to go check it out. It's not real long, but it just shows how it is when a bunch of people get together in the dead of winter to backpack. Now, granted, it wasn't the worst of conditions. I think it was like 30 degrees for the low, maybe a little lower. About maybe 6 or 8 miles total, because it was an out and back. But it involved Willie and Gretchen from Willie Outdoors. It involved the hiking hobbit and her daughter Ashley. It involved Mike and Brenda. Am I forgetting anyone?
Nope, and me and you.
Oh, that means
I mean, we were there.
yeah, we were just over in the other camp across the trail. No, but it was an excellent time. It poured down rain for a good portion of it. Willie brought just a regular blue tarp and strung it up, and we all sat around underneath of it, and even just got wet sometimes. We just didn't care. By the time
we even packed out the heavy chairs for that one.
We did. We packed out the heavy chairs for that one. We ate good. We enjoyed the fire immensely, and it even became a full-blown guy style trip when we put all the girls to bed. The guys sat around the fire and just talked a bunch of crap because we can. So it was an amazing time with amazing people. They really outdid themselves, all coming out in the middle of winter and in the rain and those cold temperatures, slapping up hammocks, and just all of us laughing, enjoying, having a good time like a bunch of idiots out in the freezing cold. So,
and it was awesome because you got 3 points of view on this. So you got our point of view in our video, and you got Willie Outdoors' video, and then you got the Hiking Hobbits video.
So you'll be able to take a piece from each of them to see how they each look at it and filmed it. You know, because we came in and just barely beat Willie coming in. So everybody else was already there. So pretty good year, honestly. Overall, I think that it really couldn't have got any better under the circumstances. I do look forward to what happens next year and what the next, phase of our backpacking. Every year seems to just get better and better. There's a lot of honorable mentions. I know you did the Laurel Highlands hiking trail.
Yes, which was amazing.
We did a bunch of hike and swims. We did a bunch of NCT miles and some beautiful back road places that we have never seen before, and I mean, it literally just stuns us every time we do those trips, because you end up walking through the woods somewhere through somebody's property that would never be seen normally.
Some Daniel Boone's National Forest in Cumberland Falls area.
Yep. This definitely has been a good
I probably
year.
hit Kentucky pretty hard this year.
Yep. Well, you had the Red River Gorge and all that, so it's been a big year. We have no complaints. I mean, yeah, we missed out on a bunch of trips, especially with a bunch of good people we were trying to meet up with. And just because lockdown and quarantine and how it all went and played out, you know, you got to do the best you can. So next year is going to be better. You can bet on that. And the content will be better as well. And I think we're going to have some reoccurring special guests coming up too. So we'll see if we can drag everybody out on the trail. You know, there is the elusive day-night hike coming up.
Yes.
So
the day-night hike. Make sure you guys watch that one.
Be looking out for the day-night hike, because I don't even know exactly what that means.
All that guy's ideal.
So it's
if it
all
goes
my
bad,
fault. If it's terrible,
you know
it's all my
whose fault
fault.
it is.
Anyways, we hope you guys have had just as great of a 2020. We hope that big things came for you. I know it was a rough year. Let's pull through, make 2020 a better one. Or wait, 2021.
2021.
2021. I don't know.
He's wanting to repeat 2020.
Don't say that. Anyways, we appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, go down, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that little bell so all the notifications come through, and we will
See you up the trail.